Hello RC hobbyists, and thank you for dropping into another episode of Hobby Drop. Today, I'm going to tell you 5 reasons why 3D printing sucks. Reason number 1, it is not durable. With the crashes and the falls and the slams and the this and that you have with RC rock crawling, 3D printed parts fail. So here we've got 5 examples of 3D printing just not being durable enough, okay? This guy right here is a battery tray that snapped, you know, from just some casual wear and tear. Okay, right here, this is a Vader skid for the Capra. Got a clean break, and this isn't the only one. I actually had another print where it snapped right here at this point, okay? This one was printed with ABS, which is much stronger than PLA, but it is a pain in the rear end to work with, okay? So that's that. This was just regular PLA. This here was a drop bed for my SCX 10-2, and you can see a couple of things. We snapped here and we snapped there. Now, I did print this quite thin to try and keep the weight down and cause some breakage. Right here is a hard body that I printed up. It looks very similar to that body there, only a little less comp cut status. But yeah, we had a break right here. The print struggle and actually caused some separation in there, and then it broke here as well. And lastly, this body ended up snapping in half, and then we broke it along the A-frame portion here as well. Not super durable. Now, I will say, this was PLA plus. I was actually quite disappointed in how well that held up. These 3 were PLA. PLA is the easiest to print with, however, it's not as strong. Numero 2, you fail a lot and a lot and a lot of prints. So many reasons a print can fail. So many reasons. One is it was just a poor design, or your filament could be bad, whether you've got filament that's been sitting out for a long time and it snaps while it's in the middle of a print. 3, warping. There's no better way to explain this than just showing you. This is something that is especially prevalent with PLA, which is what I do most of my prints in because it's the most user-friendly. However, then you get this. Makes me so sad. This body was freaking awesome. This fail is actually what made me want to talk about this in a video, because I was so, just so irritated. But I left it in the car and there were some things pressing on it. I didn't even think the car had gotten that hot, but that's why they say don't leave your kids or your pets in the cars, because they get hotter than you think. And it warped this body. This one as well, like this warping in the bed here is from the heat, and you can see the warping there. That can be mitigated by the thickness of your print. Like this body has done fairly well, but you can see that it has started to warp down right here. But this it's held up decent. I'm not too sad about how this body is done. It's actually done really, really well. Be careful with your squid inserts if you've got them, or any 3D printed foam. If you leave them out in the heat, they could get warped and have issues. So you can see here, this is a foam that I just pulled off of Thingiverse and printed. It's not a super good one. Like squid inserts are 100 times better. Well worth the $50 investment to just pick up some SL 3D squid inserts. You guys would think I'm sponsored by them with how much I talk them up. But yeah, just be mindful. This is a warped thing from being left, again, in the car. I take my truck to work with me, so it sits. I take them inside and leave them in the office now to avoid that, but just be mindful. Number 4. Now, this could almost be a pro or a con. Some people really like this aspect of it, but I don't. And that's just the trial and error. As I mentioned before, if you're trying out a new filament or something, there's just, your temperature settings could be off by 5 degrees and it fails. Or your bed leveling, there's just so much trial and error, even down to like, you designed a print, you print it, you go to put it on the truck and you realize that your measurements were wrong. So then you gotta go back, tweak it, and try all over again, which takes a lot of time and it's wasting filament, and then you've got your project sitting unfinished, just waiting for this dang print to come out correct. All right, so here are examples of all of the trial and error trying to design your own print. Now, these are all sliders that I fiddled with. Now, again, some people are way better at this stuff than me, and it doesn't take as much effort, and they can, not fiddle forever. But my computer skills are limited. I actually never ended up successfully printing a slider. I just ended up purchasing them or finding a file that already exists. Last but not least, at least for myself, it puts me in front of a computer and fiddling with a computer more than I care to. I'm not a tech savvy guy, and just like tinkering on the computer is not fun for me. It takes a lot of time, and it's time that I would rather spend doing something else. Now, that being said, the more I do it, the more you do it, the better you get and the easier it becomes. So there you have it, guys. 5 reasons why 3D printing sucks. For those of you who are still here, you know my take on 3D printing as a whole. It's well worth the frustrations that I've talked about here. This was really just a vent session to just tell you guys the frustrations that I've been having with 3D printing, as well as to just fill you in. It's not all rainbows and unicorns. There are things to deal with and frustrations, but see for yourself, or drop in the comments. What are your guys' thoughts? Do you have these same issues? What filaments do you print with? I would really like to know that. For those of you who are like, dude, you're printing with the wrong stuff, that's why it always breaks. What are you printing with? Let me know. I've tried ABS, which works, but I have a really hard time with it. I've got an Ender 3, and so it's not an enclosed thing, and so I struggle there to contain the ABS from warping while printing. And then I've tried PLA, PLA Plus, and TPU. TPU, and that's the flexible filament. This is a body that is still functional. But that's all I've got for you today, you guys. Thank you for watching and for making it all the way to the end. If you are still here and you found this useful, give the video a thumbs up, and we'll catch you next week.